The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everybody, welcome to our webinar on capital expenditures. They mean year-end tax savings. If everybody has the question or the chat box open, can you give, is it any good? We were having some technical issues. Anybody out there? Audio is not good, okay. Can you, is it possible to make out what we're saying? Because there's lots of talk. Okay. All right. Basically, Nicole, it sounds like, looks like everybody's hearing the same bit. So they can make it out, but it's slow. Think we should keep going or reschedule? Here, so basically, today's we're going to show you how they can mean year-end tax savings for your business. Quick outline of what we're going to do. The advantages of making a capital expenditure at the end of the year, whether that's namely on pieces of equipment. Ask you if you're familiar, or we'll try to familiarize you with Section 179 of the IRS tax code, which is where all of our deductions are coming from. We're going to overview some finance options, the traditional bank loan versus an equipment lease up front for a piece of equipment, see what the advantages and disadvantages are of each and the total amount that you'll spend depending on how much you'll show you some growth packages available here at Imprintables that would help you take advantage of these year-end tax savings by making a capital expenditure. So the first thing we want to do is get into Section 179. I'm going to shoot a poll question out there to you. Has anyone ever elected the Section 179 deduction? Go ahead and fill that out if you have a minute there. Okay, we have a few that have. Most of you have not. All right. Looks like most everybody voted. Most of the folks on the call today have not had the opportunity or haven't elected for this deduction on their taxes. So talk about a few of the restrictions. Obviously, with any tax code, we want you to consult your tax advisor that knows your business inside and out rather than us, but we're going to some options. Okay, so the question is, what is Section 179? Section 179 is actually allows a business to deduct the full purchase price of purchased equipment and off-the-shelf software that qualifies for the deduction. So basically, this will buy a piece of equipment to help grow your business, something that you've been needing, even maybe upgrading current equipment or software, and basically is write that off as a tax deduction as long as it qualifies. So then the question becomes, what does qualify for that deduction? Namely, it is the equipment that's purchased that will be put to or personal use 50% of the time in calendar year 2011. So how much exactly can you save becomes the question. So what's the about electing this deduction? You can actually elect to deduct up to $500,000 of equipment. we're going to click a link here and go out and see. We'll give you a little bit of a count, some assumptions, what exactly you can save. So that takes us to our Section 179 calculator. So basically, what we can do is take any initial cost of equipment that we're going to purchase, $2,995, because that's a typical piece of equipment that someone might buy here from Imprintables for a print cut machine. And you can take that. We're going to assume most small businesses end up, if you end up in a smaller tax bracket, whether it's 20%, 25%, we can actually go in here and change those in. But the assumption that we're going to make today is that you're in a 35% tax bracket. So you write off the $22,995. It's a physical cash savings on that purchase of $8,048.25. So basically what that means is that piece of equipment actually only costs you $14,946. Change this number here and show you some different options. If you were purchasing, let's just make it a heat press. The Hotronix Fusion is $1,800. That press, after you deduct that from your taxes, because these pieces of equipment here from Imprintables, any screen printing press, basically any piece of equipment that's going to be put to business use is eligible. The actual cost after your tax savings is $1,202.50. So significant savings there. Whatever your tax bracket is essentially going to receive. So if we go back here, there's another link here that we'll give you after the webinar. You can log into greatgarmentgraphics.com that you can go to read all the details. It's going to link out to this site right over here. It's the IRS's website, and it's electing the Section 179 deduction. And there's all kinds of cautions, tips, tricks page, but this details the deduction, what qualifies, what doesn't, and how you can take advantage of those things. So I do want to point out just a couple of the limitations we get when dealing with the Section 179 deduction. And again, even before these, I would recommend that you do see your tax advisor before the year's out for any deductions that you want to take to see how it's best going to benefit your business. But a few of the limitations, the equipment that I buy, does it have to be new equipment? The answer to that question is not necessarily. The equipment itself just needs to be new to you. So you can actually purchase or finance a piece of used equipment as long as that equipment is be able to take the Section 179 deduction. Let's see. What is the maximum deduction available? Well, the max deduction available of $500,000 in equipment is actually only available when you spend less than $2 million a year total on equipment. When you exceed the $2 million range, and you start to deduct per dollar once you go over that from the total. So, for example, if you were going to spend $2.1 million, the maximum deduction would be $400,000 that you can take, rather than the full $500,000 that the IRS allows. There are some limits that I want to point out to you, business income limits. Basically, the main one being that the deduction can only be taken on your net taxable income. So, for example, if your business net taxable income this year is going to be $100,000, be able to take $200,000 in deductions. You can't take the deduction to the point of a return. You can only take it to lower the tax that you're going to pay. So, to take the full $500,000 in equipment in calendar year 2011, you would also have to at least make that much as well. one of the other things that your accountant or your tax advisor would tell you to watch out for is if your business likes to give to charity, if you're philanthropic, one of the tax laws is that you can only give 10% of your, so if you're planning on those charitable donations being a deduction, you need to match that up with how much you're going to deduct with Section 179, which again, your accountant or tax advisor can take care of for you. You can actually find ways to elect this deduction on that IRS link that will be in the webinar that we post, which is the link right here. You can go in, they have a search tab, and if you search Section 179, you'll find all kinds of documentation on it. But again, always just consult your tax advisor or accountant when going through that. So the Section 179 is going to apply to any capital expenditure that's put into business use in calendar year 2011. So from January 1st to December 31st, if you put any piece of equipment that you bought new to you, you can write that off on your taxes, assuming that it qualifies. So let's move to the next part and compare different ways that you can make that purchase. Any questions? Is the sound getting any better? I think a little bit. Okay. All right. No questions right now. Okay. The next section is going to be comparing our financing options. Okay. The traditional options are equipment leasing, traditional bank loan, or cash. So let me shoot a poll out here, and I want you to check all that apply. Which equipment purchase methods have you used for your business in the past? If you can see the poll there, just click all of them that apply to you. See if we've used everything that's there. Give you a few more seconds. Most of you are getting your votes in. Okay, seems like most purchases have been done. Let's see, wait a couple more seconds. Okay, we'll go ahead and close the poll and show you the results. So it looks like most everybody has used cash when making an equipment purchase. A lot of you, about half of you, have used the bank, and a few have done the equipment leasing in the past. All right. So we're familiar a little bit with everything. So I'm going to open this spreadsheet here that pretty much compares the finance options. At least what's important to me when I'm looking at financing is what is my upfront cost, what is my monthly payment, the term, and what is my total out-of-pocket expense for the piece of equipment that I'm buying and the way that I'm financing it. So these are averages, and everything, of course, depends on what your personal or business credit score is. But these are just some good averages just to show you some numbers, and we can talk about some advantages and disadvantages. So cash on a $25,000 equipment purchase, obviously that's all your upfront cost. You're not going to have a monthly payment. You're not going to have any cost at the end of a term because there isn't a term. Your total out-of-pocket expense is basically $25,000. You're only paying for what you're buying. The disadvantage is you don't have the cash anymore, right? Okay. So the next most popular method, at least according to the people attending today, is a traditional bank loan. And like I said, I kind of just use some averages here to give you an idea of where it's at. We're using somewhere between a 15 to 20% down payment on this equipment loan. So you finance the rest of that, include $1,000 or so for closing costs. And this is going to be on a 60-month term with average credit, which puts you at around somewhere between 7 and 9% interest rate on a traditional loan for 60 months. So the upfront cost there is about $5,000 that you have to payment on the remainder that you're financing. Again, around the 7 to 9% interest rate is going to be $415. Your end-of-term cost is zero, and your total out-of-pocket expense for that $25,000 loan ends up being about $29,900. So most of you are familiar with how a bank loan works. You probably have one for your house, for your mortgage. You have bank loans on your cars. And you can also do bank loans for pieces of equipment for your business. So most are familiar with how that works. The lease, which seems to be the one that you're least familiar with, the upfront cost basically, the $12.95 is a 60-month lease. We're gonna try and do apples to apples as best as possible. So 60-month lease with average credit gets, for a down payment, they require your first month's payment and your last month's payment. Again, this is average things, because there are programs out there where you don't have to put any money up front, or you can defer payments and all kinds of stuff. But again, your average equipment lease, your upfront cost is $12.95. First month's payment, last month's payment, and a $195. So your monthly payment after that on a 60-month lease for a $25,000 piece of equipment is about $550 a month. And again, that's on an what they call a dollar buyout lease. So your end-of-term cost is $1, and your total out-of-pocket expense is $33,195 or $196, depending on if you count the dollar or not. So we see that the least expensive overall is cash, most expensive overall is lease, and somewhere in the middle is banking. So why would you choose to go with a lease over those? The reason we're going to focus on that is because the least amount of you have, and 80% of businesses who take out equipment loans actually choose to go the leasing route. So why go with a lease instead of a traditional bank loan? Basically, the advantages that the leasing companies will tell you is that leasing provides what they call 100% financing, where that upfront cost outside of the $195 processing fee is your first and your last month's payment. So it's going against the amount that you're paying. So it's basically what they would consider 100% financing. Another advantage to the lease over a bank loan is it's faster and a little more convenient. Usually the application isn't as in-depth. Everything can be done in a matter of 2 to 3 days, where bank loans more traditionally take a couple weeks and require a lot more documentation. Leasing also provides tax benefits outside if you decide not to elect for Section 179. Your lease payments are actually tax deductible as well, in addition to the Section 179. And then what a lease also allows you to do is manage what they call obsolescence. Basically, if your equipment becomes obsolete, you can return it to the person who is leasing it to you and upgrade. So it allows you to change technology as new technology is available or as yours becomes obsolete. So those are some of the reasons why people, even though it's a more total out-of-pocket expense, choose leasing. Because there's not as much upfront cost, and because it provides, in some situations, better tax benefits. All right. Any questions up to this point? We're going to go back to the presentation here. Okay. We'll head back. All right. So assuming that your taxable income this year is, we'll just make the assumption that it's somewhere between 100 and 200,000, and you're looking for tax write-offs. What I wanted to show you today was a few of the technologies and packages that we have to grow your business that will allow you to take advantage of this Section 179 tax break. So the three packages that I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to show you pricing first, just to give you an idea of where they're at, and then I'm going to show you some videos of the actual product in action. The first growth package we're going to show you is the print, cut, and heat press package, and basically that package is going to allow you to make full color heat transfers. You can make stickers, decals, banners, repositionable wall graphics, all kinds of different items. The next one would be cut and press. And that is basically a vinyl cutter. Most of you are probably familiar with what a vinyl cutter is and how it works. And we put some packages together for you for that, because that can be applied to your Section 179 deduction, save you some money. And then also just the heat press. So what I want to do is show you price-wise how it works with the deduction. So our example over here in the calculator, we had used originally an equipment purchase that was around $23,000, which meant we were going to save on our taxes just over $8,000. So that's what I wanted to show you first, which was the Roland Versacam 54-inch printer cutter. The package price on the equipment to get up and running from Imprintables is around $22,000. So by making this purchase, if you have the ability to write it off, if you meet all the qualifications, your actual purchase price on the equipment will effectively be $14,296.75. So you're receiving pretty much a 35%. If you're in that 35% tax bracket and you have the net taxable income to write off, you're essentially getting a 35% discount on any equipment that you're going to purchase here at the end of the year. So there's packages here, which again will be posted on graygarmentgraphics.com. This is for the 54-inch printer cutter. We have a 30-inch printer cutter that is normally about $16,000. After the tax savings, you would be at $97.46. The video that I'm going to show you is actually on the BN20, which is Roland's newest printer cutter. It's a desktop print cut machine. Our package price, it's normally $84.95. Our package price after the tax savings, if you elect that, gets you down to $51.96. The cut-only package is $16.95 at the stand for a more industrial and production-friendly look. And after the tax savings, you're at about $1,100. Again, about a 35% discount. And all of our heat press options are here as well. You can take a look at those, the Fusion being the top one, all the way down to the Max Cat Press, and what the savings are after, if it qualifies, and you can write it off as the Section 179 deduction. So we'll go back here and show you the videos just to where you have an idea, if maybe you haven't seen these things before, as to what exactly you can do with them. Let's see here. So I know you guys can't hear the sound that I have here, so I'll try and narrate the video for you. But this is the Versa Studio. Like I said, it's the newest 20-inch. It's a desktop print cut machine. The video is going to show you the machine working. Most importantly, it's going to show you all of the items that you can create just by adding this piece of equipment. So I'll just be quiet for a second. If anybody has any questions, they can shoot them over. So the machine, what it's showing is that it's cutting out the vinyl after it's doing the printing. It can be configured two different ways. It can print, both ways are going to print CMYK ink. So you're going to be printing 4-color process, and you can just keep it as a 4-color process machine, or you can add the ability to print metallic ink as well, which is a lot of the graphics that you're seeing with real silver finish. And it's going to walk through and show you a lot of the things that you can produce. All right, Tim asked the question, is this a good intro to print cut? That's actually what the machine is pretty much designed for, what the technology is about. It's 20 inches wide. It's about half the price of a 30-inch printer cutter, and you can produce a lot of the same things. The limitation with the machine is it's going to be slower than that 30-inch machine, but the finished product that comes off of it looks exactly the same. So yeah, it is a good intro to print cut to get your business started. All right, next question was, how many washings will this machine last on a shirt? The inks that are used with the machine are eco-solvent inks. These are inks that are the same inks that are going to be used for your outdoor applications that are going to last 3 years. So when these eco-solvent inks combine with the heat transfer materials that we carry, the result is a heat transfer that lasts the life of the garment, which we estimate to be 50+ washings. So if you're using a solvent or eco-solvent compatible heat transfer material, you're going to get a heat transfer that lasts the life of the garment. As you have questions, you can feel free to send them over. The price of the machine, the price of this particular machine is, the normal price is $84.95. The package price that we're offering for your year-end tax savings is $79.95. Okay, so that is the print cut machine. Showed you a little bit of what it can do. Next video that I'm going to show you is just the vinyl cutter. Basically an introduction to simple customization, because that's what the vinyl cutter and a heat press is giving you the ability to do. So this is Roland's GX24 cutter. It is 24 inches wide, and basically it's going to do single color cut vinyl for heat transfers, for decals. You can produce signage from the machine as well. The question came through, do you offer a lease or lease availability? We at Imprintables actually don't offer any of the financing. However, we do have a preferred partner. That company is called ACG Equipment Finance, which I'll post in the blog afterwards on the site, how you can get in touch with them. And there's other, leasing and finance companies out there. If you Google equipment finance, equipment leasing, all kinds of options will come up for you, but our preferred partner is ACG Equipment Finance, and they're out of Mentor, Ohio. And actually the numbers that you guys saw when we compared the finance options was a standard program from that company. So what happened here, we reverse cut our vinyl on the cutter. By adding the cutter and the heat press, we give ourselves the ability to decorate team sports jerseys, T-shirts, anything for fashion, like I said, as well as signage or anything else that requires a decal, whether that's helmets, cars, windows. So what's happening here is he's preheating the garment. He's going to place the name and number combination, and basically he'll have a finished shirt when he's done. All right, so the first option that we showed you was in the $8,000 range. If you get into those larger machines, you can get up into the $20,000 to $30,000 range, depending on what you want to do with the equipment. If you want to do a lot of car wraps, if you want to do a lot of large format banner printing, 54, 64-inch machines are the way to go. The one that we showed you was more designed for the apparel market. So that's anywhere from an $8,000 to $30,000 investment. This video that we just showed you of the cutter and the heat press is more of around a $2,000 investment. And then after that is, if you still don't have that much that you can take advantage of with the tax write-off, or if you don't have that much working capital at the moment, the other option is just adding a heat press to give you the ability to decorate T-shirts by ordering pre-made transfers, whether those are custom transfers or whether those are stock transfers. One of our sister companies, Transfer Express, well, actually you can send them the artwork, they print the transfer, all you have to do is heat press it onto the shirt, which is the video that we're showing here. So there's 3 different levels of investment depending on how much you can write off for your Section 179 or how much working capital you have to get into it. All right, another question here. Can you print cut window or bumper stickers with the print cut machine? Yes. You can print and cut calendared vinyl, which is going to stick permanently to any hard or flat surface. You can also print and cut cling vinyl, which is just a static cling that you can work with. All right, so basically all of that adds up to the conclusion at the end of the tax savings that you can realize. You pretty much have the potential to grow your business at a 35% discount. So any of those packages that we showed you, which I'll give you a view on those again here. These are all the heat presses. The one that had the most interest was that 20-inch machine, so let me go back to that. So if you don't have a heat press, you can look at these heat press options. Our most popular press is the top one, which is the Hotronix Fusion. It has the swing and the draw. It's available for $18.50. And then we are also offering as a year-end special free shipping on that machine. And it qualifies for your Section 179 deduction. So if you choose to take that and you're in that 35% business tax bracket, you're actually paying $1,202 for the machine. And then we'll show you the BN20. The BN20 looks like this. Basically, it's a 20-inch printer and cutter built into one. List price is that. Our year-end special is $79.95. It's going to include the inks that you need, some media to get started, whether it's that decal media, whether it's the window cling media, or the media for heat transfers. We can work that out on a custom basis with you. And this does, again, qualify for Section 179. So if you wanted to write that off on your taxes, you're actually only paying $5,196.75 in that tax bracket. Let's see. Next question came in. Do you offer trade-in? Say you buy the smaller print cut machine and in a year decide you would like to upgrade to a larger model. At Imprintables, we don't take the equipment back in. However, if you choose to go the leasing route, that is one of the advantages of financing with a leasing company, because you can work with them to do that, to take that equipment back to where you can upgrade and just change your lease. Let's see, what material do you use for bumper stickers? Bumper stickers, normally there's two materials that we would recommend. One would be just a 3 or 3.5 mil calendared vinyl with an overlaminate, and what the overlaminate does is it gives the sticker a longer life. The material that you're printing on is actually a 5-year outdoor durability most of the time, 5 or 6 years. The ink that you're printing with is a 3-year outdoor durability. So when you add the laminate over top of it, it extends the life of the ink to the life of the material that you're printing on. The other option, if you were looking for short-term use in a bumper sticker, you could print on a 6 mil calendared vinyl, so that would be double the thickness, and it just makes it easier for your customer to apply it to whatever they're putting it on. Other questions? Let's see. Did I miss any? How easy is the programming to work the machines? That's a good question. The machines all require, as far as the print cut machines, they require an EPS file with the RIP software that comes with it. So the EPS file you can get out of either CorelDRAW or Illustrator. If you know CorelDRAW and Illustrator and can create your graphics and export as an EPS, the software that comes with the machine is actually really, really simple to use. It's a matter of just opening the file, picking the material that you want to print on from a list, and telling the machine how many you want, and it's going to go ahead and run it for you. It's pretty much as simple as that. As far as the cutter goes, it's just as simple. If you can design your artwork in CorelDRAW or in Adobe Illustrator, we also offer a free program called CADWorks Live. And the website is cadworkslive.com, and works is with an X. It gives you the ability to take our templates and our clip art and custom build your artwork and send it to the cutter. Other questions out there? Okay, I don't see any more questions coming through. So basically, like I said, the conclusion of the whole thing is that at the end of the tax year, or anywhere in the tax year for that matter, you have the ability to grow your business at a 35% discount. I did have one more poll question I wanted to throw out to you guys before we close up for the day. Which growth package most interests you? Is it the print cut press, the cut and press, or the press only? If you can just pick one of those, it would be great. Did have another question come through. When will CADWorks get more full-color graphics to use with these machines? That's a good question, and I don't have the answer. I know it's something that they are working on. Group Stall, I don't know if you guys check Ted Stahl's blog. If you don't, you should subscribe to it and read it, but he announced on there recently that Group Stall has acquired Great Dane Graphics, or at least a portion of it. So I'm sure as that relationship grows, CADWorks will be getting more and more full-color graphics, because that is what Great Dane Graphics is all about. So I would say soon, but I don't have a date for you. All right, okay. Question came through. I have a few heat presses. How much is the print cut without the press? And then how close is the print cut machine to DTG printers? The print cut machine without the press is this price here that you're looking at. It's $7,995. That's for the 20-inch. The 30-inch is $14,995. I'm going to share these poll results here too as well. So most of you, it seems, are interested in the print cut press package, which we should be able to tell that by the questions as well. So the 30-inch machine without the press is that price. And then the 54-inch, actually the 42 would be the next upgrade, which I'll show you here, is about $17,995. And then the 54-inch machine is $21,995. And I don't have it here, but the 64-inch machine is about $25,495, just for your reference. So this would be for the printer and all the startup materials that you need to go with it. And then if you already have a press, you don't need to add one of these. You already have it. All right, the last question was, how close is the print cut machine to DTG printers? The DTG printers are going to be a completely different hand than the print cut machines. The print cut machines are going to give you the ability to print on lights and darks because you're printing to a film that is going to be able to go to lights and darks. It also gives you the ability to print to pretty much any fabric. We have a material that you can print that would stick to cotton, polyester, any blend of the two, synthetics, nylon, leather, spandex, lycra, but the finish isn't going to be the same as the DTG. So the print cut gives you the ability to apply to more items, to more colors, but it's not the same hand as the direct-to-garment machine is. All right. Do you print white with the print cut? Another good question. The BN20, the 20-inch machine, isn't capable of printing white. If you're using the printer and the cutter specifically for heat transfers, the media that you print on is the white. So that is why you print to the white. It contour cuts around it to remove any white that you don't want, and then you can heat apply it from there. Now, the VS300, the 30-inch and larger machines in the VS series do have the capability to print white, but it's more designed for non-apparel graphics, for your decals and your stickers. Other questions? Okay. All right. Well, I do appreciate everyone's attendance today, all the questions. Hopefully we answered them well. We are going to post this on the Great Garment Graphics site, which is greatgarmentgraphics.com. So you can check this out. You can get the links there, and there will also be links to all these calculators that I showed you today, comparing the financing options, the packages that we have available, and the calculator to show you, on average, how much you can save by electing your Section 179 deduction with your equipment purchase before the end of this year. And the reason we're talking about this year is because the tax law changes every year, and actually this is the best year ever for this Section 179. The limit has gone up from $250,000 to $500,000. And as you study it more, you'll find that there's also a thing called bonus depreciation. So if you go over, for some reason, that $500,000, you can actually depreciate 100% of whatever's left. So there's all kinds of cool stuff in the tax law. Consult your tax advisor and see what makes the most sense for your business, but there's a lot of savings that can be had there. So thanks a lot for coming. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to give me a call at Imprintables. My number here, probably should have had it on the screen and forgot to do it, but the number is 1-800-347-0068. My extension is 236. I do have it here. You can see. Or you can email me at Zach, which is ZACH, @imprintables.com. Thanks again for coming, and have a great day.